Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to build an automated n8n workflow that creates the viral Yeti vlogging videos that you've probably seen all over the internet using VO3. I have a Skool community where you can download the file and import it if you want. I created a Notion document with all the prompts, all the links, everything you need. But I'm not going to sit here and sell you stuff. I'm going to show you the software that I use to go ahead and access VO3 for extremely cheap, basically pennies on the dollar. And then I'm going to give away this Google Sheet so you can just go ahead and download it and install this. You can go ahead, you can sell this to businesses for thousands of dollars. The only reason I know that is because I do that. And inside of here, I'm just going to show you some examples of the types of videos that it does create before I go ahead and jump into it. As you can see right here, this video has just gotten 2 million views. If I go over it on this page, 500,000 views, 1 million views, over 250,000 views, basically 1 million views, etc., etc., etc. And these videos are just blowing up everywhere. But just to show you a little bit of the quality, see, that's pretty cool. And then also, so after you go ahead and complete this workflow, because this is the workflow I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly how to build. And it launches this every single night at midnight. So therefore, you have a brand new video for whatever it is that you want. And you can literally do this with so many things. Just get extremely creative and great. I know GTA 6 is one of those viral things right now. But you could just do this for businesses and also just make a ton of money. But this exact prompt, this is what I just did on my first test run. Okay, so now we're inside of n8n, and for those of you that don't know what n8n is, it's basically just an automation software that allows you to integrate AI in different models and different LLMs like ChatGPT, Claude, Google Gemini, etc. And it basically just makes AI user-friendly and easy for anybody. But you're not even really going to have to know that because I'm going to show you exactly how this is built. But before I go ahead and jump into that, the first things that you are going to need is just go over to my free Skool community. I literally just created this and just threw in a name. As you can see, I have 0 members inside of here. But just click the free templates, go to Yeti YouTube. Right here is the download link. Right here is the prompts and file link, which you'll be able to open up this Notion document right here. So these are the links of everything it is that you're going to need. So go ahead and just do this. I'm not an affiliate for any of these, so I don't really care if you use my link or not. But these are going to be all the nodes, and basically what a node is going to be these different things inside of here. But I'm going to go ahead and build this from scratch with you guys. So if I go over here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new workflow, and this is going to be the step-by-step, and I'm going to show you basically the first thing, the easiest thing that you could possibly do first. So you can go ahead and download this n8n file. So as you can see, I just downloaded it. And this would be exactly how you would upload it. You would upload from import file, and then you would click that JSON file, and then here you go, just like magic. You had to do nothing. But I'm going to show you how to go ahead and do this because you probably don't want to just download it and you want to learn it. So first step is going to be the schedule. Now the schedule trigger, the reason I go ahead and do this is because you want to be able to automate this so you don't have to do this every single day. And it also just gets you in a really good framework. So if you're setting things up for businesses to create content or any sort of automation, you now have a schedule that does it for you and works on autopilot without you having to do anything. You can change this to whatever it is that you want. I leave it on 1 day. The next thing you will do is you'll get an AI node, an AI agent node. And if you go over, let me go ahead and close these out. So now if you go ahead and use the Notion document, as you'll see, I have all the nodes inside of here. So for this node, this is going to be the Ideas AI agent. So let me go ahead and rename this. Basically, all the AI agent does is it gives you different tools and different things that you can plug into it. So therefore, it has context to make consistency in your output. So whenever you feed it something, you want consistency in your output. And this is how you can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and change this because you want to define the prompt below. And as you can see, the prompt user message inside of here, this is the source prompt. So right in here, this is what you're going to be able to go ahead and change. So whatever it is that you want to be able to create a video on, this is where you'll come in and change it. It could be something about your business. It could be something about GTA 6 characters. It could be about a squirrel dancing in a tree. Really, whatever it is that you want. After that, you will have to add in a different property. It's going to be a system message. Basically, what a system message does is it's like a prompt that's just going to be like, hey, ChatGPT, these are the instructions that you need to follow based on the prompt above, which is going to be this user message. And again, you'll just go into that Notion doc. You'll just download the system message. I have everything already built out right here. And I will go ahead, copy it, and now bring it over into here. I normally leave everything on expression. I think it's more of like a personal thing than anything. You don't have to. But feel free to go ahead and read this prompt and dive into this because this is the exact prompt that we're going to go ahead and use. And prompting is really like one of the better ways to create consistency in n8n workflows and anything, honestly, with AI. So the more detailed your prompt is and the better your prompt is, the better your results are always going to be. Now, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is put in a chat model. Now, I'm using Claude because I do like Claude the best. Claude is very good when it comes to copywriting. ChatGPT is good, and I do like its newer models, but I've always had the best output when it comes to Claude, so I would just recommend Claude, but really it doesn't make too big of a difference, especially for this workflow. After that, we are going to have to add in some tools. So the tool I typically always use is the Think tool. And basically what the Think tool does is it's like, hey, think about this before you use it. And I've done this. I built a lot of things inside of Lovable. And this is honestly why I got so hooked on it, because it'll think about what the output is that you actually need before it actually goes ahead and creates that output. And it just makes everything 1,000 times better. So go ahead and put in this Think node right here. Okay, and then the last tool I'm going to go ahead and put in is I'm going to open up this agent and I'm going to require a specific output. And the reason that I require a specific output is because it just goes a little bit better into VO3. So therefore VO3 knows how to read the data better so it can give you a better output. It could just be a personal thing. I'm not even entirely sure if you really have to do this, but I like to do it. So inside of this Notion doc, if you go down to the parser, you'll just go ahead and copy this, and then you will paste this inside of here, and you'll leave it just like this. And it's going to format all of the data different. So therefore, and let me go ahead and clean this up, the output comes out a lot better. So if I go ahead and run this, the first thing I'm going to do, as you can see, it's going through this. It's going to think about it, or it might even skip over the thinking about it. But then you'll see that the output comes out very structured, and I'll come back when this is ready. So as you can see, it is ready, and then it came out with the caption, idea, environment, and status. So the next thing it is that we do have to do is the Google Sheets. So we'll go ahead, we'll pull up this node, and then we'll hit append or update in row. Now, what I like to do is I like to name everything, and I would suggest you name everything as well. The reason being is because all of my prompts and everything is based off of my naming conventions. And that's something that it took me a little bit to get the hang of back when I started n8n a long time ago, but it's just good to know. But anyway, so here, this is the documents from list. Okay, so with this Google Sheets node, you will probably have to go ahead and connect your Google account. But for you can just sign in with Google. It's pretty easy. Honestly, I'd probably just recommend watching another YouTube video on how to go and integrate this, because I'm not going to go through the entire thing, but it is pretty simple. You can probably just sign in with Google. I've done it so long ago. But yeah, and then the other prereq that you will need for this, let me move this out of the way, is inside of here, this is going to be the link so you can go ahead and make a copy. So if you click this, you're going to be able to make a copy of this sheet. And all you do is make copy, and then you should have it inside of your Google Sheets. So after you go through your full setup, after you connect the credentials inside of here, you will see your documents inside of here. I have it named Yeti YouTube, as you can see right here, Yeti YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to select this document, and then what I'm going to do is select the sheet, because there is only one sheet for me to go ahead and use. Now, I always leave these as map each column as manually. Now, for the ID, I'm going to go back here, and what I'm going to do is scroll down and use this for the ID. Now, the reason I use this is because it's going to give me a new ID number every single time it logs a new idea. And this is the formula that you will use, so it just does it using code. And I don't know anything about code. So that's honestly also why I love tools just like this. It makes your life 1,000 times easier, and you can create apps, etc., and just sell things for a lot of money and automate a lot of things. But the thing I also do love about this is I will go over to schema, and what I will do is I will drag and drop these, so therefore everything is connected. Status I'll put in production, so do also remember that. So now, as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and log the idea. I already have this idea like I showed you before, but notice how the ID is 1. Now ID will become number 2 after I do go ahead and do this. So let me go ahead and run this workflow really quick. And as you can see, it is running. And sometimes errors do happen, which is also really good as well. So inside of here, the error is column to match on. So notice that I didn't select anything. So the one thing I like to do is I will go ahead and actually create this on the idea. portion of it. I just think it's a lot better and a lot easier rather than doing the actual ID itself. So as you can see, it has now worked and it has now logged over here. So these are the ideas. So this is pretty good when you have ideas, say it's for different businesses, whatever the case may be. You can get pretty creative if you're managing a lot of different businesses when it comes to the logging and the naming conventions inside of here. But the next thing is creating another AI agent. And what this is going to do is actually build the prompt for VO3 to be able to go ahead and create these videos. Now, if I go over to Notion, I'm going to go down to the prompts AI agent. And again, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to rename this, as you can see right here. And I'm going to change this to define below because I want to put in my own user message. So right here's the prompt user message. Notice how inside of this, I have JSON and I have expressions. So one thing you will need to do is move this from fixed to expressions because then it lights up green and then it's going to pull in the variables from right over here from the previous nodes. So as you can see, I'm pulling in the previous nodes right here. And then right down here, I'm going to put in another system message. 9 times out of 10, when you are using these AI agent nodes to do this, a lot of the time I typically use user message and system message. This is very good, I guess. So right here, this is the system message. So you don't have to use that, but I will go ahead and use all of this and I will copy this and then go ahead and bring this over. So now we have the system message inside of here. Let me go ahead and open this up. So as you can see, this is the actual prompt or the rules and instructions that your AI agent is now going to go ahead and follow. To use this for the system message, and the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is execute this. I actually did forget to add it to the chat model, and I will use the same tool right here, the think tool. And now I'm going to go ahead and actually run this. So as you can see, it is executing the workflow. It is talking to my chat model, and it is thinking about it. So therefore, it can create the best possible output for you. So as we can see, it has now came out and gave us an output for a very good text prompt for VO3. And we're actually just going to be using key.ai. It's a great tool, and it allows you to create these videos for basically 20 cents on the dollar, which is extremely cheap compared to paying $200 for VO3. So the next thing I like to do is I use a set node, and this just cleans up the data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drag in the output, and I'm going to change this just to text prompt. The only reason I'm doing this, though, is because inside of my next prompt, I just have it pull from text prompt. That's the only reason I'm actually going ahead and naming it that. So I'm going to go ahead and change this over to setting just for cleaning reasons. And then the next thing I'm going to do is do an HTTP request call. And then I'm going to go ahead and take this naming convention. I'm going to drop it inside of here. Now I'm going to use a post for the method. The reason I'm going to use a post method is because I'm posting this data over to the API key. That's the easiest way that I've been able to understand it as well, because I'm not a technical person and I'm sure you're not either. But the reason you use a post is because you want to post the data over to the other software so it can perform its tasks. And then we're going to have to get that data back again after it's been completed. So if we go ahead and jump back, you will see I put in the URL inside of here. So you can just put in the URL. Now for the authentication, it's this is where you're gonna have to come in. You're gonna have to go to key.ai and create an account. You do have some free credits when you go ahead and do sign up, but I just put in like $5. I put in like $10 just to create like a few different videos, and really you can just go ahead and do this entirely for free. But now when it comes to creating the API key, you will jump into here and you will go ahead and create an API key. This is where you will get the actual API key. And the way you will go ahead and set this up is you'll set it up using the actual headers inside of here. Now, what I did is I have a generic auth type, and I set it up as a header auth. So you can see that I have it right here already saved. But if you didn't already have it saved, and this is the best way to go ahead and understand APIs, whenever you're using like an external API, they always have documents that's going to be able to help you understand exactly how to go ahead and set this up. So as you can see, I just went to the VO3 documentation, and right inside of here, as you can see, this is to generate the VO3 video. This is the support documentation it is that I'm on. Now, I always look for the curl option. The curl option is the easiest option you can do. And it basically just gives you everything that you do need. So you don't even have to set up this entire HTTP call. What you can do is, and I'm going to show you because since I already have my header auth inside of here, I'm going to show you exactly how to go ahead and do this the easiest way possible, which is going to be the HTTP call. And you'll import the curl right here. So as you can see, I'm importing it and it changed everything. You have the post, you have the URL. You don't need the authentication because you're going to do it manually. And what I mean by that is here is the authorization. So when it comes to connecting the API key, you will copy your API key. I'm not going to do it because I don't want you guys stealing all my credits. But yeah, so you have to make sure that this name, it's case sensitive. So it does have to be correct. But right here, you're going to leave bare and then you're going to take out token. And then this is where you will put in your API key. And this is how it's basically going to go ahead and talk over to key.ai. Now down inside of here, you don't need some of these things. Honestly, you only need 2 of these. So what I would do, but basically, I guess for the reason of me showing you this is like, this is the documentation and this is how you can go ahead and do it. If it's required, it's going to say required on basically all support documents. So the prompt is required. And it seems like that is the only thing that is required. So you really only need a prompt. But I think you also do need the model in here as well. And the model is VO3 fast, which is right here, VO3 or VO3 fast. Oh, never mind, you don't, because the default would be VO3. So you learn something new every single day. But inside of here, lucky for you, I am one step ahead of everything. And I already created this JSON prompt for you. So basically all you need to do is you can just come in, you could download that curl option, or you could just use authorization and then bare space, and then it would be your API key. And then down here, you would make sure it's JSON, using JSON. And then I'm going to delete all that and just put in my prompt right here. So that is exactly what you would do. But let me delete this node because remember, I'm building inside of this node. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit send body because this has to be a body call. And the reason I know that is because when I come to the documents right here, it says body. So this is how I know that all the bodies, this is all the information that goes in the body. Super confusing at first to learn, but then becomes super simple once you learn it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this to using JSON. Now I can put in the actual code. And as you can see, it is right here. So I didn't run the setting node, which is why that was grayed out at first. But now you can see it's basically just pulling this over. And then it'll have this prompt. So as you can see, I just put in the prompt and then right inside of here. So I created a custom line of code to make this the correct format. So it can be passed along over to the API call, because sometimes you will run into this issue and it's a pain in the ass. But the best way to come across whenever you have issues is to just use ChatGPT, take a screenshot of your computer, send it in. It's going to give you the exact answer it is that you need, which is amazing. Now, as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and execute this step. And it's now that we got a 200 code, that's normally a success. This is the task ID and this is all the information. So now everything with the prompt that has been created has now been sent over to key.ai, which is basically VO3. So if I go in and show you exactly what's going on this side, we'll go over to logs, we'll go over to the VO3, and as you can see, it's running right here. So typically it takes around like 2 minutes or so for the video to get created, 2 to 3 minutes. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is put in a wait step. So now I'm going to type in wait right here. And then what I would do is I'll put in 2, I'll change this to minutes. And then normally this will go ahead and wait 2 minutes. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to put in 1 second because I just wanted to go through this node really fast. So as we are waiting, because again, it does take a couple minutes, the next thing you do have to do is you have to set up a Git node. So it's going to be an HTTP call again, right inside of here. I'm going to rename it to Git video. And the reason that we set up this node is because we just made the call to create the video on a whole nother software, which is going to be key AI. Now that it creates it, we have to say, hey, key AI, we want this video, please. Can you go ahead and send this back, which is going to be a get method right inside of here. So to get it, this is going to be the URL that you will use. you'll go ahead, you'll copy this, you'll paste this inside of here. Again, the authentication, you will need to do that authentication that I showed you the first time with the bear and the authorization, but I set mine up as a generic auth. So I have it right inside of here, which is super nice. And then after this, I will go back inside of here, and I already labeled this for you. So query parameters. So you will copy this whenever it's a query parameters. That's when you will put this in. Now I changed it to JSON code because I do have this in JSON. And again, this has to light up green because it's going to pull the task ID from this wait node. And so you will have to change it to expression, because if it's in fixed, as you can see, it's not going to pull in the values. But now that it's in expression, it will. Let me go ahead and change that just like that. So if I go ahead and hit execute, it's probably not done, which you can see as of right now. So actually I did mess up, and I'm glad I messed up, so therefore you guys can actually see my learnings. So right here, the value, so what I did do is I didn't do it as a JSON, I did it as using fields below. Now the value is going to be this, and I'm going to take out value because I put value inside of there. And then the name is going to be task ID. And remember, this is case sensitive, so the I is going to be capitalized. It's called camel case. And then now it will work. So as you can see, it's a success. The results came back as well. And as you can see inside of here, if I refresh this, it should say success. So the vial is right here. But remember, we want to be able to automate this and have it log it right back to the sheet. So what I'm going to do is, if I want to go ahead and log this back to the sheet, I'm going to do append or update row. I'm going to come back to this. And actually, I'm just going to put, I'll just type in update. Because this one doesn't matter because this is the last one. Now I'm going to choose from list again. It's going to be the Yeti YouTube. It's going to be the correct sheet. And then inside of here, so we do have to match these columns and pair it up to the column that we've already created. So I'm going to go ahead and go into ID. Or idea. Inside of here, we're not going to need ID, we're not going to need caption, we're not going to need production, we're not going to need environmental product, but what we are going to do is we're going to match it up to the idea. So I'm going to go back to this log the video, because this is the idea that is already created inside of the video, as you can see right here. And all I'm going to do is just put in this final output. And the way I'm going to do that is now I'm going to come up to my most recent node, which is the get video node. And I'm going to come down, I'm going to open up response, open up results, and then here is the URL. So now this is inside of here, I'm going to hit execute step, and it should go ahead and load everything inside of this document. And as you see, it just did. So let's go ahead and open up this baller video for you guys.
Well, folks, that's definitely not supposed to happen when reviewing these bittersweet nightshade clusters.
So as you can see, it wasn't the best video, but again, like I said earlier, it does all come down to prompting. And if you can go ahead and really focus on your prompting, you will get the link sync and everything a lot better. But this is exactly what you do. You might have to play around with it a couple times because AI is not entirely perfect just yet. But this is exactly how you do it. So if you want to go ahead and just download all of this, you can find everything inside of the Skool community for free. Just go into the classrooms, free templates. You'll be able to download everything, the n8n file, this prompt link, and all the information, the Google Sheet that you can just go ahead and download right inside of here, and all of the node information. Okay, so that basically just wraps up everything inside of here. You can get everything for free inside of my Skool community. First link in the description. And you can really go ahead and sell automations like this. You can get super creative for thousands and thousands of dollars. Or you can go ahead and automate your own content that you want, so you can blow up and be a baller on YouTube or on short form content. And you can go ahead and make some money, or you can automate portions of your business, whatever it is that your little heart so desires. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you tomorrow with a new video because I come out with videos daily. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.